today, I want to start to dive into or continue really where we left off from the last workshop. Because the last workshop we did about the power of why these things are important, these areas are important to us, why different things are important to us, also why, how we can market within our business. And then we looked at the long-term goal. What is the big scary goal? But the big scary goal is quite difficult to refine as first off. So that I'm sure will evolve over time. But my experience of goal setting over the last 14 years is that you can continually come back to that, and it takes time to grow and nurture. So I want to finish off what we started last time in planning a limitless life. And really the start of the year, or the end of a year, but the start of the year is a great time to do any of this stuff, because the beginnings of time sequences have a far greater impact than most of us understand. And in fact, Dan Pink in his book When talks about the power of starting right, starting again, and starting together. So what he meant by that was start right, get off on a great start, and with clear expectations of what you're going to achieve. And that is one of the reasons why we set goals. But then start again. So for example, there is a much greater proportion of teams win when they're 1-0 down at half time than really should be logical. And that is because they're getting the opportunity to start again. So with a good goal-based system, we get the opportunity to start again repeatedly, and that gives us new energy and new life. And then start together, he says about. So this is about building your tribe. We're trying to build our tribe here, of course. And so by starting together, doing things in a tribe, in sequence, in synchronization. In fact, this is something that I've really noticed with cycling, for example. Like I used to cycle just on my own, and I really enjoyed cycling. Then I started cycling with a group of others, and it wasn't just the cafe stops and the bacon sandwiches that made it better. There's actually something about cycling in synchronicity with others, which is really, really powerful. So what we want to do with goal setting is we want to create a brilliant start, and then we want to revisit it, start again. But we also need to create a tribe around us to hit those goals. Now, I always believe that we should start everything on a positive note. For those of you that work with us at Efficient Portfolio, you know that every meeting that we did on a Monday morning, which was called the Brain Trust, and something I'll explain more about in a future workshop. But where every time we started the Brain Trust meeting, we started on a positive note, talking about the best things. We also did exactly the same at our quarterly leadership meetings and our annual leadership meetings. And again, at client review meetings, it's all about, right, what's the best things that have happened? So I want to start, what I want to do today is this afternoon, is I want to take you through a series of different exercises to help you try and create the best set of goals for this year, for this quarter, and these 3 years possible. And sometimes we need different exercises to try and stretch our brain in different ways, some in a positive way, some in a negative way, to come up with new ideas to allow us to set better goals.